So here's a solution to the dreaded barn door falling off while driving to your next destination. And we're on board our 2018 3400 RS Alpine. And I think this door is the heaviest thing on this whole entire rig. I don't know why it's so insanely heavy. It doesn't need to be, but it is. And yes, mine has fallen off. Gosh, I think it fell off 4 or 5 times until I finally got tired of it. Each time it did, I would relocate the screws to some fresh area of wood up here, and no matter what, it just pulled. Basically, it's too much vertical unsupported weight. So I figured there has to be a better way if I wanted to keep the door, and that's what I set out to do. So here's the solution that I came up with. Basically, I took a block of wood and made a bottom support just tall enough for it to slide across the top of it. The door does basically rest on that block of wood, and I will close the door here in a minute and show you what it looks like. But I can tell you that it operates very easily. And actually, if I were to redesign this, I would put a piece of that polymer that Chuck showed us for the bottom of the slides. Actually have some laying around, but this does work good. Right now it's just wood on top of wood, but just a tiny bit of friction. So I'm doing this with just barely pulling it. Doesn't take much effort, but it does just barely slide across that, and that is enough to keep this guy from bouncing up and down going down the road. So let me show you what it looks like. A little bit darker down here, but this is the idea. I was really just a couple pieces of scrap wood. The key thing here is I cut this at a 45 and then kind of just sanded it smooth so that this is the ramp. It's not vertical here. It's kind of hard to see, but it slopes back just a little bit. And then it's also important to put like a fence on the outside, otherwise the door will pop off. So and you can see the marks. I stained this just so it blended into the background, but you can see where the door has it's just barely, and this has been on here for a couple of years, and it just barely is rubbing some of the stain off. So not much friction, but just enough. And basically this is just a block of wood with a vertical fence that I screwed into the outside of it. To secure it, I literally just put a couple of wood screws straight into the floor, and it's solid. It doesn't go anywhere at all. And then when the door closes for travel, it just goes right across it. We latch the door, and this baby will not move. The plastic factory keepers are really no match for travel anyway. I was able to keep this one because you do need it for when you close the door. That does still keep the door from flopping around. But on day-to-day basis, this thing works really well. And as I said before, if I were to redo this design, I would place that plastic polymer. It's there's a fancy word. It's ultra high molecular density, I think is what it's called. I've got a bunch of it laying around from when I redid the bottom of my slides, which if you haven't done that, check out Chuck Steed's video on protecting the Darko covering on your slide. So it's a must upgrade in my opinion. He does a real good job on it. I did that upgrade, and it's been fantastic. But he's got a video on it. But if I were to do this over again, I would put a piece of that plastic right here, and it would absolutely eliminate the friction. But without it, works really well. And you will never have that door fall again. I thought I would add to this video by showing you the piece of plastic I was talking about in the video for the door. This is it's ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, not density, as I said in the video. But this is the plastic that Chuck recommends for underneath the slide. I have these cut into strips right now because I'm getting ready to do my one of my slides. I've done one, I have got to do the other one. So I've got a stack of these. But this is the material that would work fantastic for underneath that door stop support that I just showed you. You just have to obviously cut it to fit. And you can order this stuff online. I got a 4x8 sheet of it and ran it across a table saw to get the sizes that I needed.